What is up, Gridiron Nation? I am your host, Mr. George Carmona, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm a little sad. I'm sad for one reason, and it's because there's 3 games left in the NFL football season, and it always puts me in like a somber mood to know that I'm approaching the end of this run. It's been a great run. I've had an amazing following this season throughout Gridiron Junkeez. We're finishing off the year, ladies and gentlemen. This is personal pride, right? Because I started this show at the beginning of the football season. And for all of you thinking can I be a sports reporter one day? Can I make this my living? And you can, I'm telling you. It just takes a little bit of energy and effort coming in on the days that you don't want to. And we're going to finish off with these numbers, okay? Hopefully we can make it to 500 Instagram followers, all organic, okay? I've had a lot of posts get over 100,000 views this year. Even just last week with Michael Sartain's episode, 2 of those clips got over 300,000 views. So that's huge for me, okay? We go to the sub count for Gridiron Junkeez. And currently today we're sitting at 3,556. We have had an extra little boost after the amazing start to the season with Big Body Cisco. So my season, as far as Instagram, YouTube, and then we'll finish it off with TikTok. TikTok, I'm at 8,600 followers right now. It's been a amazing ride. I thank everybody every single day for not only listening, but then just giving me their feedback, asking me for my opinions. That's been the thing that I have thoroughly enjoyed the most, because I've put a lot of time and effort into making sure that I can get my opinion out there. And although it may not be accurate, it at least is giving me validity and people wanting to bring me onto their shows, hear me out, because I do have that football mindset. I've grown up around football my entire life. And there's some things that I know as just a player of the game that a lot of layman type people just don't know. And that's what separates this show from a lot of other football shows, is because the locker room understanding tied in with human psychology and me being a special ed teacher and what motivates people. Being a coach myself, I see the whole scope, and you gotta take what I say with a little bit of weight, especially when it comes to the biggest weekend in football. I consider this weekend the biggest weekend in football because this is what everyone works for, okay? If any team loses here in this final week, we look at them differently, okay? We look at them differently for the sole fact that they did not complete the goal that everyone thought they were capable of right around week 5, week 6. These 4 teams have been on our radar hot, okay? Kansas City Chiefs never really left the radar. The Bengals had a rough, shaky start to the season, but then they found their way right around the November point, go on an amazing run and put themselves in great position, which they are in right now. The 49ers make the trade of what could be the decade to get Christian McCaffrey out of the failing Carolina Panthers, who they fired his coach to start the season. They bring him over. They make him of use. He's an ultimate game changer, especially with the way that things have played out for the 49ers at the quarterback position. Last team, the Eagles, started hot, stayed hot, still hot. They are the prolific favorites in a lot of people's eyes, I feel, with the amount of consistency they've had. Their defensive line is playing out of their mind. I think they finished the season off 3rd all-time in the NFL for sacks in a season, which is absurd. They get after the quarterback, which could yield to a lot of Brock Purdy interceptions. But I'm going to tell you guys right now what game we're going to start with, and that's the Bengals and the Chiefs. The Bengals and the Chiefs the line's been fluctuating a lot ever since Patrick Mahomes' ankle injury. The update going in, he's been fully practicing. He looks great after post-game press conferences. His coach has even got his back saying that he's had this same exact injury before, and he came back that following week and then had another crazy Patrick Mahomes, like 350-yard, 400-yard passing game. Does it worry me? Okay. Does this ankle worry me? Yes. For the sole reason that he is a mobile quarterback. He's the definition of outside the pocket, deadly accurate, right? No matter what the Chiefs do in that offense, just watch. A majority of the time, it involves some sort of motion or movement from Patrick because they understand that that's where he feels the most comfortable. He did get injured, let's remember this, inside the pocket, stepping up into the pocket, gets rolled up on. Now, Patrick Mahomes, I'm not saying he's not a pocket passer, but what I'm saying is he feels more comfortable outside the pocket. And it doesn't have to, that doesn't mean, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that are like, outside the pocket means as soon as he snaps it, he's rolling. No. Outside the pocket means he gives himself enough depth, right, to kind of float between the hashes. And to me, that ability to create depth and move is what makes him so much more efficient than other quarterbacks, because he doesn't put himself in these predicaments like where other quarterbacks and stepping up into the pocket because they need to be able to get the ball there at a faster speed, right? And I know it sounds absurd. Patrick Mahomes throws the ball extremely, extremely hard, and he's got the range, right? So when you see him floating around the pocket, you can't help but to think that it's the age-old Madden mentality. Let me roll back, give myself enough room to look, see how the defensive line's coming at me, exploit holes, right? He creates holes. What doesn't create holes? When you stay still in the pocket. That's why when we've seen Matt Ryan, we see Peyton Manning was a good example. Even Tom Brady this year. Prolific pocket passers give themselves and make themselves an easier target. And that's just, one of the things that, for me, doesn't matter how good that ankle looks. I know a wear and tear of a game. And I hate to think that people come at it in a malicious way, but I'm going to be 100% honest. If you think that the Bengals players aren't going to try and roll up on Patrick Mahomes, you are insane, okay? These people play for pride, and it's not like a malicious, down on the ground, I'm going to twist your ankle. No. What it is if I have a chance to tackle Patrick Mahomes, I know we're aiming like torso level. If I go a little low and do an alligator tackle, those kind of hits play like way more of a factor than anything else. And the Bengals players, although not malicious, although Eli Apple is going fucking crazy, okay? I hope it doesn't happen in like a malicious sense. Even though if you watch the Jaguars landing on Patrick Mahomes, I'm not saying it was malicious, but all I'm saying is he kind of saw where he was landing. He kind of saw the dude who got pushed into Patrick Mahomes. His legs could have possibly came in a little bit more. Those are the kind of things, though, ladies and gentlemen, it just happens, okay? That was an offensive lineman pushing a defensive lineman into Patrick Mahomes, which rolls his ankle. Now, you have a team just thinking, right? Okay, if I'm rushing off his right side and I have a chance to hit him, right at the waist or low, I'm going to do that, okay? Because you need to create advantages through strategic play, okay? So I myself would like to see the Bengals send a lot of pressure off the right side early on, just be expecting this to happen, just to see how Patrick moves off of that foot. Because if we remember what he was doing a lot of, he was afraid to plant off the foot. I mean, he was hobbling like a motherfucker. If he's hobbling, Let's see how bad the hobble is. We had a show in here yesterday, The American Fan. Nick Dace brought up a good point. Like, this is a tough game to bet before the game starts because of that question. How is Patrick Mahomes going to look as soon as he has to escape? As soon as he has to put a lot of power and pressure onto his ankle. And I almost feel like going and asking Ron from Maximum Velocity Physical Therapy. I might do that after. Stay tuned for like a little Instagram story. How healthy do you think Patrick Mahomes is? Or like, how quickly can he come back from an ankle sprain? Now, Patrick Mahomes is the question that everybody has. However, I still don't think it matters. And this is why. Joe Burrow is the most composed quarterback out of the four in the playoffs remaining. I'll say that again. Joe Burrow is the most composed quarterback out of the four quarterbacks remaining. His close second, obviously, is Patrick Mahomes. Everybody's been seeing it. Joe Burrow's 3-0 against Patrick Mahomes. Is Arrowhead going to change its name to Burrowhead? People are saying stuff like this. I myself really don't just like Joe Burrow, but I like that offense, okay? The Cincinnati offense, as crazy as it sounds, is the perfect blend between the Eagles' fast, quick RPO style offense as far as their line blocking schemes up front. They keep it very similar as far as the way that the line moves and the zone scheme. And they have that 49er style play action pass, Jamar Chase, finding holes and exploiting the defense. There's so many options that the Bengals, to me, are the more complete team. They are the most complete team out of all the teams remaining because there's a bit of we need to get it done from that team. Okay, they could have flopped like the Rams did this past year, but instead they're going to possibly go to back-to-back Super Bowls, which to go to back-to-back Super Bowls, it takes a lot off a team. Like it means that there's unfinished business for Houday Nation. And that unfinished business is defeating Patrick Mahomes again. And after defeating Patrick Mahomes, completing what could be the start of a dynasty, people. Now, the reason I throw the D word out there is because I love dynasties. But dynasties are only formed off of quarterbacks and high-profile players that are willing to take less money to make the team more successful. People have been saying a lot, the age of $40 million a year for a quarterback could be coming to an end quicker than it started, it just recently started, right? Because they realize that although you can have a linchpin stud QB, a majority of the time, it does not equate to Super Bowls. Brock Purdy is a perfect example, but we'll get to that game in a second. The one bet that I'm thinking of making, people, is betting in exacto. Okay, so right now you can bet at the sportsbook, obviously put in a future for any four teams. The odds, though, really have been low. You're looking at like 200, 250 to 320 odds for the other team. So, they're all hovering right around the 3-1, 2-1 range. The real money, like if you're looking at like, how do I get that 4-1, possibly even 5 to 6-1, bet in exacto. That means you have to pick the exact combination. So what two teams will make it to the Super Bowl and the outcome of the Super Bowl. Those are paying pretty good odds. And it's almost, it would be dumb to put all your money into a future bet right now when you could make more money splitting however much you would put on that future, right? Split it on the two variations of that exacto winner in the Super Bowl. So my exacto winner that I'm going to be taking Cincinnati over Philly in the Super Bowl. And I believe that's at plus 420 odds. Smoke that shit. Put it in a loud pack and smoke that shit. Okay? Plus 420 odds for the Who Dey Nation Bengals to defeat the Eagles in the Super Bowl. Kind of gives you where I'm going with on the second the second game, okay? But just to wrap up here on this first game. Joe Mixon is the best running back next to Christian McCaffrey in these final four. Okay, and I know I'm making these are big, pool sizes. There's lots of running backs. Jerick McKinnon, okay. You got Isaiah Pacheco. Joe Mixon, okay. Let's not forget that this dude was electric for the past 3 years. He runs the ball hard. He catches the ball out of the backfield. He blocks. He's an every down back. And he's Joe Burrow's perfect mix in. See what I did there? Joe Mixon, if he rushes for more than 75 yards, I'll say 80 yards. If Joe Mixon has an 80 rushing yard game, the Bengals are going to win by more than a touchdown. Okay, I do think the Bengals are going to win. Joe Mixon has over 80 rushing yards. I think they win by more than a touchdown because they're controlling the game at that point. Moving on now, after, kind of just burying the Chiefs, it sucks. They're a good team, but just make sure you guys can take the Bengals at the right time. I think that number grows. I think the more reports that come out that healthy ankle, he's going to be full performance, he's going to play. Watch that number shoot up to Bengals plus 4. The Bengals shoot up to plus 4. That's the value you want to take if you're going with points. I'm taking that money line outright onto the Eagles-Niners. You looking for something? What you looking for? Oh, he's taking the Charger helmet. You have anything to say about your Chargers? RIP?
We just interviewed the Titans offensive coordinator today.
Who's the Titans offense coordinator? He's about to look it up. He's giving it a goog. Give it a goog.
He's giving it a Facebook because they posted it on their Facebook.
Give it a Facebook. He's going to post it on Facebook. Eagles, Niners. The line is hovering at the Eagles are 2-point faves right now. Big Cock Brock coming in as the underdog. I think and I've been saying, I'm going to say it again. Who is it? Luke Steckel.
Oh, he's the tight end coach.
Tight end coach.
We're interviewing him for offensive coordinator.
Oh, so Justin Herbert could be getting a new OC soon.
Well, we are. We fired ours.
Well, okay, so he will be getting a new OC soon.
We fired our QB coach and our OC.
We got to talk about. We'll have to go through all the firings at the end of the season and just see what teams are going to replace who.
In remembrance of.
Yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's Austin. Me and him are having a little discussion about the Chargers and what they're going to do with all their firings in the offseason. That's an episode soon to come. Let's go and talk about the line, though, really quick for the 49ers-Eagles game. Like I said, it was close. It's been close all week. That's the one line that hasn't been moving. It's still at 2.5-point favorites for the Eagles. 46.5-point over-under. The over-under in the Kansas City Bengals game, too, has also gone up a point. It was at 47. Now it's at 48. 49ers and Eagles is at 46.5. That number has gone up half a point. So, where do I want to take this? I've always had a thing about rookie quarterbacks throwing interceptions, but I think I got to just I got to simplify it for myself. Yes, some quarterbacks make irrational mistakes, okay? What I think may happen more this game, due to the Eagles being able to generate pressure, is just a Brock Purdy that has to make it work on the run, on the fly. We've seen him do it a handful of times, rolling out of the pocket. Slight magic, okay? He's got a slight magic touch to him, this Brock kid. Just a slight magic. Can a magician not reveal his secrets, though, is how good a magician is for the long term. Can he continue to do this magic, or will he be exploited? What I mean by that is the 49ers have a stout offensive line that keeps Brock nice and clean. His jersey for the past 4 games has been way too clean. It looked like fresh out of the dry cleaners, dude. There's been no teams making Brock feel himself a little bit. Not saying they're going to get sacks. Not saying he's going to throw picks. They're going to make him throw from outside the pocket and on the run. And if he can deliver to Debo, deliver to George Kittle, off of these play action, are teams afraid to play man versus the 49ers? This is the thing that crushes me. The one thing that all their play actions come off of, all their fucking banger plays, these teams play these zone coverages, and it's blind zone, dude. I'm sorry. There's been so many times where I'm seeing a team drop into this cover 2 type zone off a play action, and the safety, although he's getting depth, just is 5 to 10 feet off George Kittle or Debo Samuels or Brandon Ayuk running a crosser pattern right in front of their face. And I know I don't play. And I know it's tough. And I know it's a lot of shit's happening. But can we fucking man up on the 49ers? If the Eagles can just what the fucking corners are doing all the time. Straps, you're getting fucking strapped. Okay, if the Eagles can strap it up and run some man, don't let these fucking crossing patterns in zones kill you. Like it's killed every other team that has played the 49ers this year. Don't let it happen. Instead, man up. Play tough. Play Eagles football. Get in their face. Make Brock feel uncomfortable. Make him run out of the pocket. You Eagle fans, okay? If you guys get down at any point in time by 14 points and you don't start booing the fucking team that's on the field, this game to me, although it's close in the lines, it's just not close anywhere else. In my head, I'm like, no. High-powered offense, great defense, young quarterback. They're going to make them just crumble. And it may not be from hitting the kid. It may just be making him feel a little uncomfortable. But we got to man up, send some pressure, make Brock move. And you know what? If anybody's going to beat you, the Eagles, if anybody's going to beat you, it's Christian McCaffrey, okay? Christian McCaffrey is the only thing, if I'm an Eagles fan, that I'm like, damn, this could be the one person we don't have an answer to. Terrifying, but not as terrifying as having a fucking 23-year-old as your starting quarterback going into a divisional football game. This isn't Kansas State. We're not in Kansas anymore. Did he play for Iowa State? This isn't Iowa anymore, okay? This is the Link. Philadelphia. For a game that, you right now, Brock Purdy, he will never truly understand how big of the magnitude of this game is and how tough it is to get to this location. And he was just dropped. He was placed. It was just like you're playing by default, cuz. You're playing by default, Brock. All right? He's managed the situation well, but can he continue it is the question. So, my final take on this is that the Birds, the Eagles, they dominate. They dominate. I I think I might want to tease the Eagles. Like, if I can tease the Eagles to like a 5 point, this is where I wish I could set my own lines. Like, I want the Eagles. I think they're going to win by more than 5.5 points. If I could take it out somewhere, I would. I think it's a touchdown game. I think it's a lot of trying to play catch up for one of these teams. And I just pray to God it's not the Eagles. I hope they really just take it to them because, like I said, my exacto needs to play out perfectly for me to like finish this year sports betting wise even. Like if the Bengals beat the Eagles in the Super Bowl, an even year for my first year of like, okay, let me tell you my picks on a sports show, that's not too bad. And the one thing that I hate is like, didn't track shit this year. The one thing that I hate about myself every year for the past 2 years is like, George, you got to track. You got to track. I would start tracking sometimes and I stop tracking. I need to be more of a better and not a gambler next year. That will happen. Where I will keep better track. Maybe we'll have more graphics. We'll have a bigger team. Lots of bright things in the future, though, for this show. Yeah, I'm excited. I can't believe I get to do this for a living. I just set up a microphone and talk. We have another show coming in here in 15 minutes, so I got to bounce. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mr. George Carmona. Follow Gridiron Junkeez on all platforms. Have a good one. Win some money. Go Bengals.